This is a movie.
Keep repeating. It's only a movie. Only a movie. Only a movie.
I love movies. Gosh, I love movies.
Listen to the Matt and Mark Movie Show.
Happy Friday the 13th. This is the Matt and Mark Movie Show. Mark is not here. Mark is away. He's abroad. That's all I'll say. Mark is abroad. A classy broad.
I thought he was a dude.
Mark is overseas for a bit. So that doesn't stop the Matt and Mark Movie Show, though. I have a special guest, somebody that hasn't been on this show in a while. And that's our buddy Tommy Nuggetz. Welcome back, dude.
Hey. Thank you, man. I'm always down to talk horror, especially Friday the 13th.
Yes.
One of my goats.
This was, let me tell you something, you're not going to believe me. Since we have become internet friends, this has been a while now, I have always wanted to do this with you. Tommy and I have covered a Friday the 13th movie previously on this show. Go check the horror show a couple of years back. We covered Jason Lives, Friday Part 6. Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. It was our first, I want to say it was our first Friday the 13th show on the show. I always wanted to do a thing that we're doing right now, Tommy. When this episode drops, it's going to be Friday the 13th. I've always wanted to record a Friday the 13th special about Friday the 13th, releasing on Friday the 13th with you, the biggest Friday the 13th fan I know. And I'm finally fucking doing it. So thank you for being here, dude.
Oh, dude, thank you for that insurmountable amount of pressure. No, I'm just kidding. I probably am a pretty high echelon Friday fan, but there's probably someone out there that's got me dead to rights. Even like Halloween is my favorite horror franchise of all time, but Friday is probably my second. So like, it's right fucking there. And I mean, I got Jason on my arm. I wear the clothes. I watch the movies. I definitely will be watching a Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th proper. So dude, I'm stoked you asked me to be here. And thank you, man. I appreciate anytime anybody refers to me as a horror expert on any genre. I'm a happy guy. So thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, it's so funny too, because like people don't know this, or maybe they do if you've been listening to the show a while, but offline, whenever it is Friday the 13th, we inevitably get a text chain with Tommy, and Tommy always picks a Friday the 13th movie that he watches on Friday the 13th. And you know what's awesome is I've been doing this for a couple of years. I'm sure Tommy's been doing it for longer, but it's just kind of one of those awesome connective things where you're like, somebody else does this too. This is great. Yeah. And like, we'll take time to seriously think about what movie they're going to watch for that Friday the 13th, what they watched previously on the previous Friday the 13th, so they don't repeat anything. There's so many Friday the 13th movies. What is it? So 10, including so what is it? What do we go at? We got 11? 11?
I think 11, yeah.
And if you don't, is that counting Freddy versus Jason? 12.
12, because technically a lot of people have been pissed about the legal limbo that the IP's been caught in, because really we should get a 13th Friday the 13th movie, Friday the 13th movie. So you know, I do believe most people consider 12 in the canon. I would say I probably do too, because Freddy vs. Jason can go either way, but it is in my Friday the 13th.
And also it rules. It's a great movie. It's so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love Freddy vs. Jason. I think it gets slept on and just doesn't get the love for, like you said, how fun it is. You know, it's Friday the 13th. It doesn't need to be poignant. It doesn't need to be a prequel, an origin. It's just fucking fun, man. And what better way to bring those two together? So I dig it. I think it's an awesome movie.
Fuck yeah. So that's what we want to do. I want to just capture the magic of those text threads here on this special tonight that you're listening to at home. Let me do some quick housekeeping before we start the show. Yes, the socials at the Matt and Mark Movie Show, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all that. We have a voicemail, 707-948-6707. Call, leave us a message. We will play it on the show. YouTube, we're still over there, although we don't post as much these days. But you should like and subscribe and all that good stuff, because you never know when we're going to drop something good. And also, I wanted to do a quick bit, if you'll indulge me. I have a guest spot coming up. I don't exactly know when it's coming up, but I always like to hype these on our show. Friend of the show, Derek McDuff from the Underrated Podcast. He had me on another show that he's doing called Anthological, which is like an anthology show where different guest hosts kind of cycle in and out, and they take different parts of an anthology to cover. So I actually got to join him for a segment on Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. I think that's going to be coming out like in a couple months, so heads up on that.
That's a cool concept.
It's a very cool concept, man. I was like super confused too. I'm the worst with that kind of shit because like he sent me a whole email describing what it was, and I was like, got it, I understood. And then I retained none of that information. And I walked away and I was like, so I'm watching Sin City 2, and I'm not realizing, I'm not doing the homework, I'm not doing it right. I like approached the show and I had to like, it's just that age, dude. My head is like full of tortilla chips and gluten. You know what I mean? Like I can't, there's no room for thought, man.
We're too old to go back on gluten, so it's just gonna
we've already committed.
Get worse. Yeah.
Fuck it.
You're just gonna get worse.
So yes, there you go. I want to thank our buddy Derek for having me on. So yes, Friday the 13th. So this is the part of the show where we usually kind of talk a little shop, and we'll have a main review. And we are going to kind of have a main review for this show to celebrate. I'm sure Tommy's going to have a movie he actually watches on Friday the 13th. I'm going to have one as well. But for the sake of this show, we chose Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. So we are going to cover that. It's not going to be like a huge in-depth review, because really, this is just kind of a giant celebration of not just Friday the 13th, the franchise, Friday the 13th fandom, and this specific niche thing that I'm obsessed with. I love texting Tommy about what movie he's watching on Friday the 13th. So besides Final Chapter, what is the Friday movie you're watching this year?
You know, it's funny because I always try to space them out. You know, like I kind of have a rule with most movies, horror or not. I try not to watch a movie twice in a year within a calendar year. Whoa. I know it's weird because I am all about rewatching movies, but I have so many movies, and I also enjoy, you know, checking out the new shit in theaters or streaming or whatever. So it's not all rewatches. So I just feel like I like to try and spread some things out. Now, sometimes horror is usually the culprit. Sometimes I break that rule. But that being said, I'm definitely going to go with something I didn't watch this last October during my horror-thon, where, you know, I just do horror for like a month and a half straight. So for horror-thon, I did Part 2. I did the OG original. I did the '09 version, and then I was actually lucky enough to see Part 3 in theaters in 3D.
Oh, shit.
In October. And that was awesome because I own the blue and red glasses and 3D copy at home that I can watch.
Same.
But the blue and red glasses,
it doesn't work.
No,
it doesn't work.
It's like such a fucking novelty. I feel like I should be watching a Simpsons Butterfinger commercial from 1992.
Also,
and like
that's a great way to give yourself a migraine too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you can't do shit else. You can't.
No.
Not that I'm advocating for phone scrolling, but even if I'm like, if I want to look and talk to my wife or look at my phone, you can't do it with the blue and red.
No, fuck
glasses.
no. Dude, you can't even look down at your snack. If you're having a snack, you look down and you look back up, it fucks your shit up. All your senses just go dead.
It makes your Cheez-Its look like they're down in a canyon somewhere, and you have to like, you're like chasing the dragon, reaching for a Cheez-It. But no, so it was nice to be in a theater and get the actual like proper, you know, theater 3D glasses. Yeah. So there was not the discoloration of the blue, and
you can watch that guy just put the yo-yo right in your face. The yo-yo.
Yeah. Dude, I think that guy's such a dick the whole movie. I'm like, your girlfriend's pregnant and you're like hitting her in the face with a yo-yo. Like, what a fucking asshole. That guy's a future wife beater. If he lived past the night, he would be, but
he's a real charmer.
He didn't quite make it.
No.
So all that being said, I probably will go with like Part 6 or maybe Manhattan Part 8, something a little more in my bottom echelon, even though I love them all. Probably something a little less of a heavy hitter for me, because I have done all the heavy hitters in the last like 6 months or so.
It's crazy that you put in Jason Lives in your lower echelon, because for me, I gotta tell you, and I've told you this, Jason Lives is my personal favorite of the franchise, but I'm I acknowledge that it's not even the best Friday movie. I'll tell you that straight up. But it's just the one that I like the best. Sure. But I'm also a massive classic Universal Monster fan. It's not a Jason movie. It's a Universal Monster movie.
It's a Universal Monster. Yeah.
Wearing a Jason mask is what that is.
It's funny because when we covered that last time, I think we kind of had this similar convo too, where I put it maybe more like middle of the pack. It might not be on the bottom echelon, but if it's not, it's right in the middle. I did rank them in case you wanted to hit that today.
Oh, we're definitely doing the ranking.
Yeah.
We're definitely doing that for sure.
But it's probably near the middle for me. And I'm actually surprised to hear a lot of people share the same sentiment as you, that it's like one of their top dogs. I love it. And I love a lot of things from it. I just was a little bit, I think I'm always a little judgmental by the new pretty boy, Tommy, coming out of nowhere, Tommy Jarvis. Last you see him, he's in a fucking hospital room. Like, basically you're assuming, oh shit, is he about to be a killer? And then the next movie he's like a pretty boy and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm here to save the day.
And he's also aged in dog years. He's aged in seconds. It doesn't make no sense.
He's younger.
How's that happening? Yeah.
So, but I do still like Jason Lives a lot. And if it's lower echelon for me, it's at the top of the low echelon or middle of the pack. It's not at the bottom of the list.
I respect that. Dude, Alice Cooper, Man Behind the Mask doesn't even raise it a bit for you.
Just honestly,
a tad.
I just saw Alice Cooper in Freddy's in Final Nightmare, so that does not always help a movie. I like his music, but no, I don't think that helped it too much for me.
Now you're knocking it down a couple notches.
Yeah, I'm like, Alice Cooper was in that.
Did he fuck sing? That New Beginning?
Take it down.
So I selfishly chose, so I don't know what I'm going to do on the actual day, Friday the 13th, but for the show, the reason I selfishly chose Final Chapter, dude, was because Mark and I, we make our annual pilgrimage out to HHN. And this past year, we were just in the hotel room bullshitting after the event one night. And AMC was running Fear Fest. And if you don't know what Fear Fest is on AMC, it's just, it's literally the AMC TV sanitized versions of your favorite horror movies. And they run, to their credit, dude, they run it all fucking month. You could basically turn on AMC at any time, and there would be like, they'd play every Final Destination in a row, every Halloween in a row. Like, it was just crazy catalog movies. Anyway, they are sanitized. You're not going to get the blood and gore, but I was kind of surprised with what they got away with. But that night that Mark and I tuned in happened to be the Friday night. And we watched, I fucking shit you not, Tommy, because you're in a hotel, we can't like rent the movie or, we don't have a fucking Blu-ray player. So we're stuck watching what's on the television. So
you're at the mercy of the TV.
We're at the, dude, every pharmaceutical ad, every fucking, Chili's ad. Yeah, exactly. So what happened was we wound up watching Friday the 13th, then part 2, then part 3 in a fucking row, Tommy. Just
yes.
We decked out, we got room service, and as Final Chapter started, I was like, fuck yes. I love Final Chapter. I knocked the fuck out. I just fell asleep because I'd been at it. You're out, you're doing the event, then you're watching 3 movies in a row, you eat a bunch of chicken tenders or whatever, and you go to sleep.
You're like sitting on a bed already. So
dude,
exactly. All you gotta do is like slump over and
your eyes give over. You give in. And so that's why I was like, that was literally October, first weekend of October. And I was like, you know what? I knew that this was coming, the Friday the 13th in 2026. I knew I was going to pull you in for this special. And I was like, I'm going to fucking do Final Chapter. Just selfishly because I want to watch it. And I'm going to save it specifically for that day. So that's why we're talking Final Chapter today.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. When you reached out and were like, "Hey, there's a Friday the 13th coming up," which I knew because I kind of earmark them in my my calendar. Each year I'm like, "What kind of interesting days we got coming this year?" So I look for that. But when you mentioned that, and I don't think we had quite nailed down which one we were gonna focus on yet. I was like, I hope it's a good one. I was like, I hope it's not part 7. I hope it's not. Final Friday, and even like Jason X, I like Jason X and it's fun, but I don't know how much we could like get
We
philosophical.
can't dig in there.
and
We can't dig
into it.
in. Yeah, we're not digging into that.
When you said final chapter, I was like, fuck yeah. Final chapter is a heavy hitter for me. It's one of my favorites.
Yes. What would you say your favorite Friday is?
That's awesome. It's like my favorite question in the world. So my favorite is part 2, and it
I
probably
knew it. I knew it, dude. I would have bet. I swear to God, we should have played predictions because I would have won. I knew because I'm going to tell you too, man. I think. Do you watch? Let me ask you something. Do you watch the Star Trek movies? Are you familiar with the Star Trek movies? Not the shows, the movie. No, I'm not talking about the new movies. I'm talking about the classic movies with Shatner all the way through Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, so I am probably familiar with the first 4.
Okay.
Once they got to the killer whales,
You were out.
After that, and it wasn't even that I was out. I was just like a kid when I watched that, and I think as I aged, I veered more towards Star Wars and wasn't as much into the Trek stuff. That being said, I have 1 through 4 somewhere up here in 4K. So like, I am aware of them. It's been a minute since I've seen 3 and 4. 1 and 2, I'm relatively aware of.
The reason I bring them up is because there is sort of an unspoken rule in Star Trek movie fandom that basically says the even-numbered Star Trek movies are the good ones and the odd-numbered ones are the bad ones. Now, I wouldn't agree to that. I don't think it's a hard and fast rule. However, I would be hard-pressed to disagree that 2, 4, and 6 are... I can't disagree. Those are the best Star Trek movies. Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan, that's the hands down the best.
You can't.
Anybody would say
you just
that.
fucking can't. And I have to say... I kind of think the first 6 Fridays follow that rule. 2, 4, and 6, to me, are the shining jewels in the crown of the Friday franchise. For me. 2 especially. I think 2, to me, has the best final girl of the franchise. Jenny, right? Is her name? Is that her name?
Yes. Amy Steele is the actress
She
that plays
is,
her.
to me,
I agree
the
with that,
best
too.
final girl. She's better than Alice. We'll talk about the final girl in this movie.
She's smart, dude.
She's smart.
Like,
and
she
brave.
uses that child psychology the whole fucking movie.
She's and once she does that, do you notice that the other movies all kind of have a variation of that same it's the Jenny effect, yeah. That she was like, I'm gonna trick him by changing my appearance and trying to look like there's something to jog his trauma, right?
Well, and it works, and obviously, I think part 2 is. I agree, she's the best final girl. I also think it's the best iteration of Jason we have, not because it doesn't have the iconic look, right? He's got the bag over his head with one eye hole cut out.
Looks so good.
It looks so good. He's so fucking creepy. And then the actor who plays him, I think his name is Warrington Gillette. He's like a skinny dude, and other than the kid version of Jason at the end of part 1, he's the smallest guy to play Jason. Everybody else is a pretty big guy. You get Kane Hodder, you get these other guys that are big fucking Richard, is it Brooker? They're all stuntmen playing Jason after part 2. But in 2, he looks like a normal guy that snapped, put a fucking bag on his head and just went around killing people.
He's a shut-in. He's like a malnourished shut-in for sure.
Yes.
He's not juiced at all.
It's our first time we get him. It's our first time that he's the actual killer. Some of the best quotes and some of the best like secondary characters are in part 2.
Dude,
part 2 is my shit.
The open of final chapter I love because it's basically framed with that badass campfire scene from 2. Splicing in these key moments from the first 3 films. But you cannot beat, dude, that campfire story about Jason in part 2, to me, is like a high point of the franchise. It fucking rips. It's so it's so moody, and it's just got a fucking attitude about it, and it really sucks you in. There's not a lot of cutting. You sort of gently lull into the story. It is truly capturing a campfire story on film, and you get that same effect. You're scared. You're lulled in, right? And dude, I kind of forget sometimes that this one final chapter starts with that as the framing device for the recap, and I'm like, that is so good.
And you're right too. It's awesome how they do splice in some key shit from the first 3 movies. Pretty much every Friday movie, starting with 2 and then 3 and then 4, they and five for that matter, they start with footage from the last movie. It's like
Yeah.
the Rockies, right? And so sometimes you could like feel cheated with that a little bit because it's like only 97% new footage, but really it's like it's a good segue into, hey, okay, here's how we got where we're here now. And I think it was cool that that they did pull those key moments and put them in almost like a
Yeah.
campfire montage.
It's slick.
And
It's so well cut.
it's excellent. And not to harp on part two too much, but it's got one of my favorite scenes that I think is the scariest in the whole franchise. And it's when Ginny and her boyfriend come back from the bar and they come back to the cabin and all the lights are off and it's quiet because obviously they don't know this yet, but everybody's fucking dead. And when they walk in and Jason's in the room and he's like crouched down behind some furniture, and Ginny goes, I think her boyfriend's name is Paul. She goes, Paul, there's someone in this room. And then Jason stands up and you hear him breathing more, and she goes, Paul, there's someone in this fucking room. And it's
Yes.
like, even just
Oh.
saying it right now, it gives me chills.
Yeah, dude.
And
Yes.
I've seen it like 60 times. So, I know it's all going to be okay, but
It's effective.
It gets me jazzed up. So, 2 is great. And 4, for my money, is probably the second scariest.
Yeah.
It's not my second favorite. I don't want to jump ahead on the rankings
Yeah.
yet.
Don't jump there. Don't jump there.
It's probably the second scariest to me. So 4 is great. Final
Interesting.
chapter.
Yeah, you know me. Tommy knows this. And people that listen to the show know I like silly stuff. I like schlock. And 4, there's no way that I'm not going to be in the bag for 4 for final chapter because it's got. All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. But I do want to say there is one.
I already know what you're going to say.
For as serious and as heavy as 2 is, it's got one of my favorite deaths in the series, which is Wheelchair Guy. Wheelchair Guy
Thank you.
dies
Yep.
spectacularly. It's hilarious.
Just
Dude, the wide shot to see him clear all, like, whatever it is, 20 steps is so fucking funny to me.
It looks like a mannequin, just a weighted mannequin, just down the fucking stairs.
Yeah.
But I really love that death too because, and I hold no ill will towards folks in wheelchairs, but it shows you nobody's safe in this movie.
Yes.
The guy in the wheelchair that everybody likes, he's been a good guy so far.
Jason
He's
is
fair game.
Jason is inclusive, and the filmmakers are inclusive too, because he's not just treated like a third wheel, no pun intended. He's treated like a guy who is going to get some action, right? One of the girls is very into him. She actually has my favorite. I love the reaction shot when she screams into camera. It's when she is under attack and she screams right at camera. It's a really beautiful shot. But that guy is not played like a prop. That guy is played like one of the crew, and I really appreciate that.
He's like the coolest guy there. He's like the
Yes.
one winning the arm wrestling competition. And
Yes.
When she's like asking him, why he's not, I think, smoking weed, he's like, I'm in training. Like he's the baddest ass motherfucker there.
True. Also, he has a handheld. He has like a Game Boy. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Like the very first Tiger
It's
LCD.
like, yeah, dude. It's a Game and Watch. Yeah, so there you go. So that's dude, this is I'm having such a good time already, man. Because this is the exact kind of show. I have some more questions for you before we launch in to Friday the 13th. We won't touch rankings yet. But I do want to ask you this. In terms of how you rank your Fridays, do the actors that play Jason matter? Because we can't see them through the mask. Do you have a favorite? I know everybody says Kane Hodder, but does that matter for you? Because to me, I'm not going to be this guy. Besides the baghead Jason, I really can't tell them apart. Even with the sizing, like to me, I delineate my Jasons more with the movies versus the actor.
Right. I mean, so I am kind of the same way. The movies play a more crucial role in my personal ranking than the actor itself. I do think that this franchise is linear in terms of, and almost exactly linear in Jason's sizing. Go to part 1, and I believe the kid that played Jason jumping out of the water is Ari Lehman is his name. And he was a kid at the time, so he's small. But fast forward to his adult life, he's a small dude still. So then part 2, Warrington Gillette, he's a grown man, but he's still small, right? And they get bigger and bigger as they go until you get to Kane Hodder for the last of the first, the first what? Kane I think is up until Jason X.
Yeah.
But
he comes in around, does he come in 7, right?
I think 6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah.
And so but I even think Kane Hodder gets bigger, like he was hitting the weights or some shit, and then you look at the '09 version, which I think is silly underrated. I love
Same.
the '09 version.
Yeah.
He's the biggest Jason. So really between 1 and 11, he gets bigger and bigger. And I think that the only ones I really notice when I recall it in my mind are 2, because he's a skinny guy with a bag mask,
Yes.
and the '09 version because he's a big fucking Hulk of a man. So who plays the Jason isn't a huge factor for me. How they play Jason does definitely help me, enjoy the movie more. But I don't think any of the movies are distracted by what Jason's doing. I think more than anything, it's like I get taken out of Jason X because they're using like back to college Target cups to drink out of their, it's like their cups of the future. And I'm like, that shit was at the front end cap at Target 1999 on sale for back to school. Like, don't give me this future bullshit. But who plays the Jasons doesn't play a huge factor for me in the movie. A lot of other things do.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And by the way, if you're wondering, the Jason that we've got tonight for final chapter is Ted White, who I believe was just they're mostly all stunt guys, but Ted White has been around. He was like a journeyman stunt guy. He's had a long career. So, and you can tell me he does a great job, because one trademark thing that is in, I want to say, maybe not every Friday, but I would say at least 8 of the 11 Fridays is some window shit. We always get somebody getting thrown through the window, or Jason himself comes through the window. And some of the series' most epic shots are Jason coming through windows. This one has, to me, 2 of the most exciting and disturbing window shots. One is, I'll just say the cool one first. It's when he busts in and grabs Tommy.
Yeah.
Is, to me, one of the most iconic window shots of the franchise. The other one, and it always fucking bugs me out because, I'm like a pet parent, is when Gordon goes through the window. I don't know how they got that shot when Gordon the dog goes through. It's so fucking random. Weird. Yeah. Because I'm like, it's play class.
Thrown through the window?
That's right. Or did he pull, like, is somebody off camera like pulling it? I don't like that either way. I don't like any of these. But I always forget that shot's in there, and rewatching it for the show, I was like, oh no, the Gordon shot. I hate the shot.
And it doesn't really make sense. Like, it doesn't come back later of like, oh, fuck yeah, Gordon saves the day. Like, no, he just takes off. He's just out of there.
It's so weird. Yeah, because you're waiting too for Tommy Jarvis to be like, oh no, like when she's fucking nailing the door shut, I'm waiting for Tommy to go, no, fuck, Gordon's not home. Gordon, fucking don't nail the door shut, but nobody ever brings him up again.
No,
so
they're like, fuck Gordon, he left us.
He just does a happy ending. He goes and lives with another family. Yeah, dude, this one has a fucking banger window shot. That shot when he comes through and grabs Tommy Jarvis is fucking excellent. It is. That's the stuff Friday the 13th is made of right there.
And like, obviously, back when this came out, 84, everything's practical. So it all aged well. And even when you see Gordon jumping through the glass and it's clearly single pane, safety glass, everything's aged well, and it still feels real and visceral, and it doesn't feel like some bullshit that you're like, man, I guess computers sucked at the time. Like it all feels heavy and hardcore. And like, when Jason comes in and she throws, what does she throw? Like a hammer at him?
Yeah, she throws a hammer right at his face.
To the wall. Yeah. And that shit's sweet. And like, I don't know. I dig 4. Of course, the cast for 4 is probably, outside of 2, because Amy Steele is excellent as the final girl, but overall as a cast, you get fucking Corey Feldman, you get Crispin Glover. Like, this is a legit cast.
I love, this is what I was going to say earlier. So Tommy knows I like schlock, and you can't like schlock and not love Crispin Glover. And Crispin Glover was like my entry point to loving Final Chapter. Because this is where, if you don't know, and I'm assuming if you're listening to this episode, you do know this already, but I'll say it for everybody else's benefit. This is where the gif comes in, where Crispin Glover's dancing at the party, and the dance is heavenly. I'll just say.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Honestly.
It truly is. It truly
and
is.
I hate that his buddy comes in. He's like, "Hey man, listen to this," and he throws some bitch ass fucking.
It's like soft jazz.
It's like shit that would put Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra to sleep. It's like a crappy elevator version of their music, even, you know. And like,
yes.
and
Killed
then
the vibe completely.
Do you like slow dancing? And like, what's up with that too, bro? Have you ever gone camping with friends and then had a girl with you that you went there, like traveled hours with, and you're sleeping in the same bed with her, and then halfway through the night you're like, you know, I think I want to fucking switch girls. Like, that's never happened, dude.
Never.
I used to go camping with my friends every summer, like in our early 20s. And if any one of our homies decided halfway through the weekend he was going to switch girls to some random twin we just met, all of us dudes would probably disown him before his girl before she even got the chance to be mad about it.
Before the body even hit the ground.
Yeah, we'd be like, what are you fucking doing, bro? Are you trying to ruin this for everybody? So like that part always gets me. I feel like they killed the vibe of they should have let Crispin Glover get some more new age dancing in, and they killed that vibe with the whole
they killed that vibe. But we do get, this is the one thing, and I wanted to talk about Final Chapter, is unlike Jason Lives, this is one Friday movie that I like, I think mostly because, funny enough, besides the window, because of the non-Jason elements. Like the Crispin dance. Dude, everything with Crispin and the friend. The friend is such a dickhead. But the whole deal where he's got like the fake computer, the dead fuck guy. That whole bit, Crispin is fucking magical in this movie. Like when they're all skinny dipping and they don't get it, or they're pretending not to get it, and the Doublemint twins, it's like actually the Doublemint twins. They're like, hey, come on in, guys. Everybody's doing it. Crispin Glover goes, no, we have no suits. And it's the fucking delivery is so good. And the line is so fucking ridiculous. But like, if you like those two Crispin Glover moments, you're going to love everything in this movie. Dude, especially two. My other favorite is, where the hell is the corkscrew, Ted?
Thank you. Ted. Like, I love how he yells that. And if I ever have to ask my wife where something is from another room, I always want to add that, but I don't think she would. I don't think she would get where I'm going. So I just
too deep of a cut. She's like, I think
so. I think so. If we were roommates, Matt, please believe, anytime I was looking for anything, I'd be like, Matt, where are those scissors?
Where the hell's the corkscrew, Ted? Dude, that, and this is too. This is the bit that it's before Back to the Future, obviously. So you still get a Crispin Glover who wants to try, and he's really going for it. It's a great performance. He's really invested. You don't see the kind of weird. He's not coasting. He's doing fucking great. Also, too, as Tommy said, Tommy Jarvis. Corey Feldman, dude, listen, Corey Feldman is a joke today, but make no mistake, dude, as a kid actor, he fucking ripped.
Corey Feldman has the best filmography of any child actor. Yes. And I've said that honestly since The Burbs. Like as a kid watching The Burbs, I thought that shit.
Yes.
And Corey Haim had some great shit. Macaulay Culkin had some great shit. You know, there's been some child actors that have had some. Peter Billingsley had some fun movies as a kid, but nobody has been in as many fucking fun, cult classic, impactful movies like Feldman was. And it's almost forgivable that he's so fucking whacked out now. Cause dude, he peaked when he was like 12. So how do you know?
And it's crazy too, because even rewatching this, I was reminded how good he is. Like, he genuinely makes you feel like you're scared for him. When he's scared, like when he's crying and Jason's got them cornered and he's freaking out, like when the sister's got to get him, Trish is her name. You really feel for him. You could sense when he shaves his head and he has this kind of breakdown, you know, to try to protect her, protect his family. You feel for him. Like that's real acting, man. He's connecting with you on a human level. It's fucking crazy.
Well, and one thing I really appreciate too with his depiction and how I feel like they let him basically play a young Tom Savini in the role.
Yes.
He was an effects kid. And also, and this is something that pulls at my heartstrings a bit because I was in a similar situation as a kid. He's the man of the house. Whatever age he's at, 10, 12, he's the man of the house. And I don't just mean that because he's the only boy in the house. He's the one that's like fixing the car when the fucking car breaks. He's the one that like knows how to patch the video game shit to the TV in his room. And like, so, you know, I like that when he's supposed to leave, I can hear your kitty cat. Hey,
yeah,
kitty.
I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry about
it. Podcast cat good. Making a cameo.
your cat likes Friday the 13th. That's cool.
Yeah, he's also like, hey, dickhead, why is this door open?
Yeah, why are you fucking ignoring me? But no, when Trish like wants Tommy to run away and leave, and then when he comes back into the house and she's like, no, Tommy, why'd you come back? You were supposed to leave.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why he came back, because that kid carries like the weight of the safety of his home on his shoulders. Even as a little 12-year-old, he's like the man of the house. And so I love that he comes back, and I love that he kind of, like we said before with Amy Steele, he taps into that child psychology aspect a little bit, and he makes himself, I mean, that's pretty smart for his age to go, I'm going to make myself look like fucking Jason. And he does an excellent job. That's like the scariest haircut in cinema history.
Yeah, it's those little it's those little tiny
those
doll tufts of hair that are still caught on his dome.
Scary.
Yeah, dude.
And I love that he does that. Like, he is a very mature kid. And Feldman always played mature characters in all of his movies. Stand By Me, fucking, even Lost Boys, even though they were silly, the Frog Brothers, I mean, they had a business killing vampires. Like, that's pretty serious shit.
Yeah.
So I thought Feldman was great in this. It wasn't just like, oh, this is a movie Corey Feldman was in when he was a kid.
No, not at all.
And he's basically the first adversary Jason has in the
not
whole
only
franchise.
that, it's cool too, because I was thinking about this just in horror movie tropes in general. We finally get a movie. This is one of the first, or maybe one of the few, where we don't get a final girl. We get a final two, and one of them is a boy. It's very different, and I like that. This movie actually has like some really cool genre breaking ideas like that, like things that for 1984 are like pretty fucking advanced, especially considering this was made by just a regular kind of horror workman guy, Joe Zito, who made The Prowler, right? Like, he's a slasher guy. That's what he does. It's got some real like genre breaking shit in it. Like, he wants to play and experiment with it, and I really appreciate that, man. Because I also got to say too, I do want to throw a little bit of shade. I hate Trish. I think Trish is one of the weakest of the final girls. It's good that you pair her up with Tommy, because she's, I think, at her best when she's trying to protect Tommy, when she's scared for him, when she wants to kind of, step in for him. So I actually think that was like very smart, because Trish on her own, dude, is kind of boring. Even when the hitchhiker guy comes in, he's hunting for his lost sister, their whole thing, like the problem is that they're the same age as all the campers that we're seeing, like Crispin Glover and the Doublemint twins, and they're way more exciting and fun to watch. So like, I feel like if there was an age disparity, like if they were played a little older, maybe it would be like, they're kind of allowed to be boring, but they're literally the same age, so it seems like they're just lame. You know what I mean?
I agree. And what's funny about that too, I always think about the hitchhiker. I think is Rob or Rob.
It's Rob. Rob. Yeah.
Now, let me tell you something about Rob. He's the most tragic fucking character in the entire Friday franchise. Here's why. Tommy Jarvis becomes Jason's first, let's say, adversary, because, the final girls in the previous few movies were obviously adversaries of Jason's, but they don't come back. So Tommy Jarvis is Jason's first real adversary that comes back a few times, right? And so to me, he's like the Dr. Loomis of this franchise. But there is one Jason Hunter that we meet before, and it's this douchebag hitchhiker Rob, who literally has spent who knows how long, X amount of time mapping out the woods, following newspaper headlines. He's got a fucking gun and a machete in a tent, and he's searching for Jason. He's looking for teens in mass so that he can find where Jason's going to be. And then the first fucking encounter he has with Jason,
he cries.
This guy, he cries. He literally yells out the word, "Oh, you're killing me!" Like,
that's right.
Are you fucking dude? You waited your whole life, and then this is what you waited for? Like, and it's funny because Tommy Jarvis is a little kid, and he's what, 70 pounds, and he's 12 years old, and he
he's
doesn't
fearless.
have a gun, and he doesn't have a backpack full of tools and shit. This motherfucker, as soon as he gets the chance to finally face the person he's been stalking for who knows how long, he is a total fucking letdown. So shout out to Rob. You could have been the first of the Jason adversaries, but you were a little bitch, bro.
He was a little bitch, dude. Tougher than Rob is the random fat hitchhiker girl that flips them off as they're driving into town. She's got way more balls than Rob does.
She was a G. Have you ever noticed how every fat person in 80s movies is eating something all the time? Like, even if it's a banana, like she was, they're always eating something.
Dude,
And
every time he kills her as she's eating the banana, I want him to somehow kill her with the banana. I have not figured out how that would work.
choke her, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But that shot where she just like crushes the banana.
It out.
Yeah, dude. I want him to have used the banana to kill her.
I always thought it'd be funny if you saw his hand pop into the frame and like catch the banana as it's falling over. Like, banana. I've been eating squirrels and dogs for 3 weeks.
He has a little snack. Yeah.
Get a little potassium.
Another 80s guy, not as well known, but he's well known if you know your Police Academy movies, and that's the morgue attendant, the horny morgue attendant. That is the family man from Police Academy. And when I see that guy, I love the Police Academy movies. But this also, we want to talk about gifts that keep on giving. This is where that famous super pervy fitness video comes from. And where many people have hunted it. Yeah. And it's all him just watching this random fucking fitness video that I want to say is real. They didn't shoot it for the movie, right? It's like a real fitness video.
It looks like it, but watching that, I mean, it's 2026, so it's hard to think that guys used to watch that and just be like, yeah, for like, I'm going to watch this all night. I'm like, really, dude? Like, this is like,
are you serious?
You can see that shit on Good Morning America now, but okay. But it does look like some legit fitness stuff. That guy's great. He's such a creepy hornball for that few minutes he's in there.
And I love the nurse that he's paired up with. She's great.
Yes. Well, and what's funny, 80s movies, obviously you do not look to as a moral compass, because the message in 80s movies is when you're trying to get with a girl and she says no, you just got to persevere. And obviously that's not true. But in the 80s, it was like, she couldn't have been more clear that she said no. And then he kept hitting on her. And then she showed up to
hang on. I got to get my cat out of here because he's going to crash this show.
Bye, kitty.
It's not, dude, it's not Jason Voorhees you got to watch out for, bro. It's the podcast cat. He will fucking attack your show, dude, like you don't even know. If you have a show going, he's coming. He's coming, dude.
He doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give two fucks. By the way, I looked it up. Sorry, Tommy, that my cat was interrupting.
No, you're good.
I looked it up. It is a real workout video. It's called Aerobicize the Beautiful Workout from 1982. So if you're curious what that is, you could go and find it.
It's funny because there's no instruction like, okay, girls, here's our next move. Like, it's all just like asses shaking and it's like symmetrical. Like, the girls aren't laid out like side by side like they would be in like a fitness class. They're in a circle, heads facing in with butts on the outside, just moving. Like, it's clearly, you wouldn't want to work out to it. I don't think.
I don't think so.
More for what he was trying to do.
Maybe a young Darren Aronofsky saw this and inspired the end of Requiem for a Dream.
You know what else I love too about the mortician, and this is another 80s trope that you almost always saw. Motherfucker's eating like a tuna fish sandwich that's like falling apart in his hands, and he like sets it on the dead body, signs his papers, picks it up, takes a bite of the tuna fish. Like, bro, I can't even eat a tuna fish sandwich driving past a morgue. I'm definitely not going to eat one off of
and still gets to hook up, and still the nurse wants to hook up with him in spite of his disgusting tuna fish breath.
Yeah. That guy, I mean, hey, his life was short, but he lived it hard, and you got to respect that.
He lived.
He went for it. He knew what he wanted.
So final chapter, I gotta say too. We do get body count wise is good. I will say this and this movie does have some great kills, but it's really for the big ones like the Crispin Glover corkscrew through the hand, nailing him to the doorway. Yep. Fucking brutal. But really, to me, the best kill, and this is kind of a cheat, the best kill in the movie is Jason. It's Tommy Jarvis getting Jason and that head slinking down the machete slowly. It just looks so painful. I wanted to ask you what, if any, you had a favorite kill from the movie.
Well, it's funny that's where you went, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I almost thought of it as a cop-out, but then I reminded myself, Jason does actually die at the end of this, because he's not there in part 5. It's someone else. And in part 6, he has to resurrect him. Revived, via electrical, via lightning through a fucking
to Horseshack and the guy from Return of the Living Dead.
That motherfucker's supposed to be at work. But no, so I do think Jason does die here at the end of
Yes.
final chapter. And also, the iconic delivery that Tommy Jarvis gives that, they replay again at the beginning of part 5, the whole die,
Yes.
die. That's fucking legit. Like, I still am stoked for that part every time I watch this movie, even though I know it's coming. So I am with you, man. My favorite kill is the killing of Jason by little Tommy Jarvis.
Fuck yes. Also, too, Jason takes one of my favorite hits in this movie when Trish hits him over the head with the fucking TV.
Yeah,
it looks so fucking painful, and the sparks go everywhere. It's a really good hit. It's a good stunt.
It's legit. It's funny because I watched that with my wife this past Friday, and I was like, you couldn't do that with a TV today because it would break in your hands before you could even bring it.
Would be like fucking paper. You would like a paper plate over someone's head. There's another good TV kill like that in Grosse Point Blank, Bing Bang Popcorn, where the guy where he gets Dan Aykroyd and he smashes the fucking TV over his head, and it's one of those box, CRT TVs, so it's got the tubes inside, so it's fucking 400 pounds. So it would annihilate a skull if it goes through it for sure.
And I'd like to add as an honorable mention the killing of Stu in Scream by Sidney Prescott when she slams the TV.
Right.
That's like a 32-inch Sony Trinitron, and those things took like 2 or 3 guys to carry inside.
Hell yeah.
So, TV deaths back in the day were fun. You couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, dude.
It would just
4K
dads would just wrap around their face.
How many dads herniated discs getting those Trinitron TVs inside?
And the reason why they rocked with it for 30 years is because they still had a hernia 30 years later.
Yeah, that's right. They're like, I'm not fucking moving that thing again. You
like
can
plasma?
write it off.
No, I don't want one of those.
Yeah.
Fuck that. But no, I agree. I think that's a great hit, and it's very visceral and crunchy, and you feel the glass and the sparks flying, and it's like, fuck yeah, like that. You almost are like, I don't even know if that was a prop TV. That was legit. So,
yes.
That's a good hit right there. Didn't do anything, didn't phase him. But
no, not at all. Not at all.
It was a good thought.
I think those are my favorite big moments in terms of visceral moments from final chapter that are more traditional Friday moments. Like I said, I tend to love the more non-traditional Friday moments in this, like just the shit with Crispin Glover and the dead fuck friend and double mint twins, the Moore guy. To me, that's the stuff I remember from this one, right? Tommy Jarvis's masks, we were talking about him being sort of based on a young Tom Savini and having like the cool dude, that fucking monster puppet that he shows
awesome.
Rob.
It's so sweet.
Awesome, but I want to say it
yeah.
came back. Like, is it that that they went up actually using that for something later in another movie? It became like the monster for that movie. I can't remember what it was.
You know what it? Well, so I do think I kind of know what you're talking about. I don't know if it was like was it not critters, but something like that, like ghoulies.
Yeah, like a ghoulie or something. Yeah. I'm gonna cheat and look it up right now because I honestly
that little
don't
can
know.
puppet also reminds me of one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets where Freddy has like the long head and he's like chomping on the girl, pulling her in. It reminds me of that too. But yeah, the kid's room, that cool shit that he has, it's awesome.
Yes.
And I love that his mom is supportive of it too. Like I love when she's telling him, you got to go into town and get a haircut, and he's like walking in with the new mask, and she's like, oh, I like the new mask. Like it's super cool that she was like fostering that, because if that kid didn't have his whole childhood fucked up, he probably would have grown up and been a pretty cool special effects guy.
He would have become Tom Savini for sure.
He would have totally.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like this movie for 1984 for a slasher, it has some pretty progressive ideas, right? And that's one of them, right? The family dynamic of the Jarvises is definitely in there, dude. Because it feels a little like aspirational, like you're saying. That the mom is there to fucking cheer him on. That's not something you normally get in a movie like this.
No, and I think it felt a little more real too, in terms of maybe not Trish and that Rob guy, because like you said, they probably could have been aged up a few years, but I think amongst the teens, it felt a little more legit. The last movie, which I love, part 3, but part 3 was just full of tropes. There was like the aloof pregnant girl, and then her dumb like idiot bro boyfriend, and then there was like the fat
stoner
Joker
couple
guy.
Yeah,
the stoner couple, and so everything felt even like, I mean, even the Latina girl in the first movie, they go to her door and her mom's like speaking Spanish, and they're like, oh, are we in the right place? Like, are we in the right country? And I'm like, Yes, you are. But it felt like everything was a trope. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
And in part 4, it was like, oh, this seems like a group of friends that would actually probably be hanging out. So they don't really have the full-on stoner.
Yeah, dude, that's a good call. Like, yeah, you kind of have the slut, right? The girl who, she's the girl from Weird Science that tries to get the friend. You got the slut and the prude, but you're right. Like, in a movie like this, Crispin Glover and the dead fuck guy, they're nerds. They're nerds who are trying to get laid. But these movies wouldn't follow those guys. They would follow cooler guys, aspirational guys who are trying to get laid. So again, in a way, yeah, you're right. It totally bucks that trope. It kind of does its own thing. It's really original that way.
And I think it's cool too, because, you know, obviously everything centers around a campground, but this isn't really a campground. It's just the lake it's Crystal Lake, you know? And so there could be a time where even today you get an Airbnb at a cabin and you go with your friends to this cabin, and maybe there's a family that lives next door with a cool little effects kid and a teenager that wants to come party with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, it felt pretty real, and like it could happen. Whereas if you're watching part 2, all you got to do is be like, well, I just won't be a camp counselor, and then I'll probably live to see another day. You know, like
right.
This movie was just some kids trying to get away for the weekend, and they all fucking die because of it. So I like that it feels real, feels pretty authentic.
Yeah, and we only get 2, if you're talking about horror tropes, right, where you have premarital sex and then you die. We only get 2 of those. We get Crispin Glover, who gets laid, God rest him. Where the hell's the corkscrew Ted? He gets it. He went up. What a way to go out. Gets laid by one of the Doublemint twins. But and the prude girl who finally sleeps with the guy in the shower, and they get it in there. But that's it. All the other kills are kind of like random.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the prude girl, because she's like, I think I'm in love, and you're like, ooh, yeah, hold on to that thought for about another 20 minutes. At least you're gonna go out on top, girl.
Are you sure you've made your final decision? Is this your final answer?
Yeah. Because this is who you're gonna end up in the afterlife with, just so you know. Post-coital, you better be fucking sure.
I also like, too, going back to the fat hitchhiker. This does keep up the final the Friday the 13th trope of having like a town local. You either have a hitchhiker, or before you had the doomsayer guy who was like, you're doomed, you're all doomed. Right. She kind of serves that function a little bit. I like that they keep that going, because that after this, basically, this movie clears the deck. 5 really clears the deck. Then 6 revives and regurgitates them. 6 revives it, restarts it. Yeah, but you don't get as many of those old school Friday tropes. They develop new ones, you know?
Well, and I actually do think that's why final chapter is so good, because they intended for it to be the final chapter.
Yes.
You know, Joe Zito, I think Tom Savini wasn't part of 3, and he came back to do this one because they said, we're going to let you kill Jason. And he said that in interviews and in the documentaries and all that stuff. Crystal Lake Memories, I think, is a good documentary to watch if you like the franchise, but it's like 4 hours long, so you got to strap yourself in. But
you got to commit. You got to commit, baby.
Yeah, but I don't think Savini wanted to come back, and they said, we're going to let you kill Jason. And he was like, all right, I'm there. And so I think that's why you get the Savini-esque character in Corey Feldman. I think that's why you do have, other pretty good actors, like with Crispin Glover. And then, I don't know, I think it's why it's got so much heart and it's so genuine, because they were like, we're going to go out and we're going to do it right. Of course, the popularity of the movie made it a short-lived thing where, they were back with another one in like a year. But at the time when they made this, they thought it was going to be the last one. And I feel like they were trying to give it a proper send-off. And I respect that. By the time you get to the 4th entry, a lot of times people are just fucking, they're just doing it. They're phoning it in. They're coloring by numbers. And this one they had some fun with, and they kind of took some chances a little bit.
I would argue this feels like, at least at this time, it feels like the tentpole Friday movie. Because I was thinking about this today too. It's like, okay, you got your Halloweens and your Nightmare on Elm Streets and your Texas Chainsaws, right? All of those movies, all of those franchises, their first movies had an assured directorial hand. You had John Carpenter, you had Wes Craven, you had Tobe Hooper. Yep. We didn't get that here. We got Sean Cunningham, who's a fucking prick in my opinion, and has done nothing but just cockblock his own franchise. I think he likes to take a little more credit for Friday than I think is owed to him.
I think so too. I think he thinks he's John Carpenter.
I think, yeah,
Craven.
exactly. That's the sad part. Yeah. Because here, Joe Zito is like a competent guy. Like, you know, I feel like Sean Cunningham and you know, whoever made 3, I feel like they were just trying to like fulfill the base level of the brief. Hey, I'm supposed to make a slasher movie. Hey, I'm supposed to make a 3D movie. Joe Zito feels like he's making a Friday movie. Like he's informing the style, kind of how it flows, the rhythm of it. And the one thing that he really borrows, you know, to up to this point, in my opinion, has been the strongest entry. But even that feels like, it doesn't feel like what I think of when I think of a typical Friday movie. It just feels like a super strong, incredibly well-made slasher movie. Here we get that signature style that then informs the rest of the franchise. It's crazy that it doesn't happen until 4.
It really is. And you know, even the signature iconography of the hockey mask doesn't happen until 3. And going forward.
And even that, you got to wait half the movie to get it. Here you get him right from the top with the mask.
Yeah. And so you know, keep in mind, cinema goers watching this movie part 4 were probably the first ones to, when they sat down to watch it, expect the hockey mask, because nobody knew it was coming for part 3. But I think one of the things that makes me see when the franchise really takes on its identity is looking at the Nintendo video game. You remember that shit?
Fuck yes, I do. I love the design of that Jason, dude. The blue Jason with like the purple jumpsuit. It's fucking amazing.
I think that the inside of the cabins and just the tone of the game is pulled directly from like 3 and 4. I think that's where you started to get that tone and that feel for, this is what people expect with Friday the 13th. So yeah, Joe Zito very competently told the story here. And you know, this is so the first 4, I'll tell you right now, without getting specific, the first 4 are all in my top echelon. The first 4 plus one other one outside of that are my favorites.
All right, you know what? I think, unless you have anything else you want to say about Final Chapter, should we just rip the Band-Aid off, dude, and do rankings?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should. I think I said everything about Final Chapter. The main thing I wanted to point out was that the fact that this fucking poor bastard Rob was the first person to hunt Jason, the first person to show up and go, yeah, I know there's a Jason, I'm here to stop him. And he totally bitched out when his time came. So I was able to mention that. So I'm happy to move on.
All right, dude, let's do it. Friday the 13th rankings. This is your personal ranking of the Friday the 13th franchise. So, I mean, you revealed what your top choice was. So maybe you want to count down? You want to go to your bottom to your top?
Let's go worst to best.
All right,
and
let's do it.
Let me state too. So, you know, Matt, because obviously this is where we became friends. I used to be much more active with my show and my socials. And so I have done this ranking before, and I'm not promising that what I'm about to give you now is exactly the same as what I've said before, nor am I promising it'll always be the same going forward. I reserve the right to change a few out as
dude, you're allowed, man. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to grow and evolve.
Nobody approached me in the street and be like, hey, motherfucker, I thought you said part 3 was top echelon, and now you're talking about it's number 7. Yeah,
dude,
so, anyway.
If that person does that, it's a Rob fan. It's a Rob. Don't pay attention to that person.
All right. So basically, starting at the bottom, part 9, Final Friday.
Yeah.
I think just about every fan's going to put that at the bottom of the barrel. I do appreciate what they're trying to do with like Jason being more of a spirit, more of a demonic presence than an actual physical being. So I do appreciate some of the whole, like when the mortician takes a bite of the heart, the black heart, and then all of a sudden he becomes Jason. Like I can appreciate some of that, but it's so terribly acted,
and it's such a slog. It's really hard to get. It's not a fun watch at all. Yeah.
You know, if this tells you anything, my favorite thing about it as a kid watching it when my taste in movies was a little less refined, my favorite thing about it was that the captain from 21 Jump Street was in it. You know what I mean? That was the part that was, let's get the captain from 21 Jump Street, which was like my favorite show as a kid. So that was a highlight for me. So yeah, after that, I think you might disagree with this because I think we talked about this one before. Part 7, New Blood with the psychic. That's my second least favorite. I will say too, I think every Friday the 13th movie has an easy line that you can drop, just one sentence. telling you which one it is for casual
Yes.
fans that might not remember. So that's my line for number 7, the one with the psychic. And I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I think that I don't know. Anytime you're talking about mixing, like you don't need to mix supernaturalities. You don't need someone with psychic abilities to fight an unkillable slasher monster. It's just silly. And I don't like that final girl. I don't like the whole story with like her therapist, like
Oh yeah, dude,
manipulating
Terry
mom.
Kaiser, Weekend at Bernie's, man.
Yes, I do like that actor.
That is pretty
But
dope.
yeah,
Yeah.
part 7 is second least favorite of mine. Coming in ranked at number 10, also the 10th movie, and I do like it, but Jason X. It's just got too many things that make me go, what the fuck? And I think one of the biggest overall is the set pieces and the props. It takes me out of it so much. Like it literally looks like they walked into a Target right before back to school and they were like, buy all the fucking shit you can find for a dorm room. And we're going to put it up against some aluminum siding and we're going to make it look like the inside of a spaceship. It reminds me of Leprechaun in Space, which I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have. Yeah.
It's bad. Now, I enjoy it still, though. I do think this is the one where Kane Hodder's going maybe the craziest because
Oh, and it's got that amazing the freeze kill where he does the liquid nitrogen to freeze the face and smash the face is amazing.
And I even appreciate the origin of it that Jason was frozen because they didn't know what else to do with him, and like I like that aspect of it. I just thought the execution was kind of janky and I don't think it's aged well. I think some of this 80s stuff that you would think didn't age well, I think has aged much better, whereas Jason X has not aged well in my book, but I do still enjoy it. So the next one for me coming in at number 9 is Manhattan Part 8, and I do love it, but it's just like I don't know, there's you don't get the normal cozy feel of the campground. They're on this like industrial ship that's supposed
to be a cruise ship. Yeah,
it's supposed to be a cruise and it's like a fucking cargo ship or something.
I think this movie gets a pass from a lot of fans, including myself, because those few minutes, and they are few and scant, the few minutes he's in New York are so awesome. But unfortunately, that's a speck of this movie. The majority of this movie is on the boat, and it sucks.
Yeah, it really is. And even before the boat, like they start and they're on like a river boat, or and the couple's about to do it, and then Jason comes on. It's got some good kills. It's got one of my favorite kills in the whole franchise, which is when the guy's boxing him on the roof.
Oh yeah, and punches the head right off.
Yeah, dude, and he's golden gloves in it. He's fucking pop,
great.
pop, 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 and then Jason just bam, one punch, and his fucking head flies off like a dandelion. Like it. I love it. But if I got to rank them and if I'm hard pressed to put them in order, that would be my next least favorite. After that, coming in at my 8th favorite, and I do love this movie. We already mentioned it, but Freddy vs. Jason. I think it's fun. I think it's funny. It's just not all the way a Jason movie. A lot of it is the Freddy lore, and you're looking at it from the Elm Street perspective more than the Crystal Lake perspective.
But so it's cool that it kind of treats Jason like a hero. By the end of the movie, the kids are cheering for him like the protagonist. They want him to win.
Well, and it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like brushing my teeth and I'm thinking, who really got the better of the two in that one? Well, neither of them, because Jason thinks he won because he's walking out of the lake at the end holding Freddy's head, and then Freddy winks at the camera. So neither of them won. They were like evenly matched, which I can appreciate. And again, I like that movie a lot. I dig it. That's also got one of my favorite kills when Trey gets folded in half.
Oh, yes.
I love that shit.
Love that shit.
Dude, that guy's a douche, but he's got some of the best one-liners. Like when he's like, hey, babe, what'd I tell you about kissing me after you smoke? Like, your hair smells like menthol. Like, he's such a dick. But Freddy vs. Jason is fun to me. It's just, if I got to rank them, that's where it goes. After that, so I guess this is the bottom of the low echelon, right? Because this is my number 7. So this is the top of the low echelon, I should say. Part 5, New Beginning. I like Part 5. I think a lot of people would put that in the low tier of their rankings because Jason's not the killer. And there's some silly stuff, the fat guy with his candy bars at the halfway house, and he's like, well, if that's how you really feel, then fine. Like, it's the hillbilly lady that lives with her grown son who's just riding around on his dirt bike, like screaming. Like, there's some annoying people in that, but I also really appreciate what they tried to do, because they saw the success of 4 and they knew they had to do something. They had to make another movie in the property, but they told themselves, we killed Jason, we can't just have Jason come back.
Yeah.
So I like that they tried to pivot from that. And as it's even called New Beginning, because they tried to make it a new beginning. They almost tried to make it like Jason's not just this one person. Maybe we just do other Friday the 13th movies with different killers. And obviously people didn't like it, so they went back to Jason. But
Tommy, you can admit that you have this high because of those damn enchiladas. That's why you got this high on the list, Tommy.
That's one of my. I love that too. He's in there and he's like, "All right, now you're gonna get it, bitch." He went from like this nice, cool dude to like, "All right, I'm gonna put hands on you, bitch."
This is the one. So, like Tommy said, that's so true. You have one line for each movie. That's the one line for this one. Is you could say that's the one with them damn enchiladas, and then you would know exactly which one enchiladas. It is. That's right.
And I like Reggie the Reckless in it. I like the fact that the second best new wave dance routine in the whole franchise is the girl in part 5 who's just in her room doing these like hand dance movements and like totally oblivious to Jason.
Dude, yes, I want some horror YouTuber to intercut the Crispin dance and the new wave girl dance
with her, bro.
It would be amazing. They should have hooked up.
They should have been together.
Yeah, they should have hooked up for sure.
Next time you watch part 5, tell me that girl does not look like what's her name? Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Looks like Kelly Kapowski.
Oh shit. Yeah, she kind of does.
She looks like a new wave Kelly Kapowski.
Kelly Kapowski was like my childhood crush. My friend. The first time I realized girls. Wow, girls.
I was a Stacey Carosi guy. I liked the summer episodes. Anyway, so I like part 5. I think it gets a bad rap, and I think it's super fun. It might be the one I watch this upcoming Friday. This will make you happy to know. And please stop me if you want me to not keep going. But I'm just plowing ahead with these rankings.
Dude, go please. That's why we're here.
This will make you happy to know, Matt. At the bottom of my upper echelon is part 6,
yes.
Jason. Now, sometimes I probably interchange that with 5, depending on my mood. But as you said earlier, it just pretty much gets back to what we know, and it gives everybody what they loved. And I think they kind of learned from the failed experiment that was 5. Even though I like it, I think they kind of learned, hey, people want the hockey mask, they want the machete, they want Jason. So they came up with a way to bring him back. And is it the most creative, original way ever? No, Frankenstein did it many years before.
But it looks so awesome.
It works. Dude, if it worked for Mary Shelley and it worked for the Frankenstein monster, it
that's right. For fucking Jason. If it's good enough for Mary Shelley, it's goddamn good enough for Horseshack, and it's good enough for you.
Yeah. So and then the rest of part 6, and so part 6, the way I would describe it, it's the one with the pretty new Tommy. and
yes.
People are like, oh yeah, that one. Yeah. But I love the guy who is the paramedic, and he goes to pick up his date, and he's like, forecast. He's like, flurries in the mountains, and he's like putting that Coke on his hand. Like, I just love all that, dude. And she's like, yes. I'm gonna go party, and then like, they don't.
And you have the badass shit on the RV, the attack on the RV, seeing Jason stand on top of it. It's fucking Universal monster shit. It is so awesome.
Yeah, no, it is a very good one, and it's just one that basically is right at the bottom of my upper echelon. It's number 6 for me. Okay, so number 5 for me is part 3. The 3D one would be the tagline, I would say, to get people to remember. And you could also say the one where he adopts the hockey mask.
Yes.
Because obviously that's the first time we get this. Part 3 is fun. First of all, what gets me about part 3, and it holds me through the entire hour and a half, is the score. I love that it's like disco-fied, and it's more funky.
Sounds so good. That open theme awesome. Too is so awesome,
and it still sounds good.
Yeah,
you you could pop in Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta, and you're like, I don't know, some of this music, it's just not doing it for me anymore. But the disco score to Friday the 13th 3D, it still slaps. It's really fun.
Oh yeah.
And seeing it in 3D this past October at the theater probably
did it bump it up your list a bit? Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. But I just love it. I think, I actually like the stoners in it. Myself and my wife were always the stoner couple at these camping events with friends. We were like the obligatory stoners, and so I love that these fuckers are like, this guy's got like a Hawaiian shirt and a bandana on the whole time. He looks like Mark Maron. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like a cross between Maron and Chong, and he also kind of looks like the actual guy who runs Camp Crystal Lake that you meet in the first one. He's kind of like an upstate hippie guy. He's the guy that's at the diner. Yes. If that guy survived, he would have become Mark Maron, who would have turned into the Chong guy in part 3.
He'd be so stressed about the events that he'd start smoking weed 100%. All the time.
He would need to for anxiety, for sure, and PTSD, for sure.
I love the line when he's talking to his girlfriend and she's making popcorn and like the power goes out and she's like, go down in the basement and check the breaker. And he's like, but it's dark. And then she's like, be a man. Like, I love that shit.
She has a great delivery too. When she kind of comes out of her pot haze and the house is on fire and she's finding dead bodies and she goes, oh my God. And she kind of, it's like,
she's like sobering up instantly. Yeah. No, so three is fun to me. I think even like the dialogue's shitty, but when Shelly and the girl are at the store and they get attacked by like the bikers, and he's like, if that's how he wants to do it, fine. Like it's so like terrible dialogue, but it's just fun, man. And then the 3D element does add a fun aspect for me. I recommend if you ever see it playing in your local haunt in 3D and you're a fan of the franchise, to go check it out that way, because even if you saw it in 3D back in the day in the theaters, you saw it with the blue and red glasses. And I think
you didn't see it properly, for sure.
I think seeing it properly with the 3D technology we have now is a super fun way to see it. So after that, my top 4. So number 4, a lot of people would disagree with me here, especially on social media. I love the 09 version. I love it.
Right there with you. I love it.
Dude, it's one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in a theater. It's got that long opening where you think it's like that you think everybody's fucking dying, all the main characters, and it's just the opening of the movie before the credits even roll. I had teens getting up and running down the aisle in my theater, like running out of the theater. And as much as that shit normally could annoy me, it felt real and authentic. Like people were legitimately freaked out during my screening of the 09 Friday the 13th. Awesome. I think it's cool too. It's a good amalgamation of all the other movies. There's a lot of kills that are basically callbacks to previous iconic kills. I just think it's super fun, and they don't try and do anything crazy. They're not trying to do a new origin story. They're not trying to necessarily pick up where anybody left off. They're not trying to change anything about the lore and the mythos. They're literally just continuing on with another Friday movie. And I think it's super fun. I love the cast of characters in it, like the group of friends that goes up to this lake house with their rich douchey friend. I love that guy, how he screams when the body lands on the cop car.
Yes.
Isn't it the douche from Transformers? The one that's like,
I think so. All of
Megan Fox's boyfriend.
All the kids from the 09 are a little tough to tell apart because they're all so pretty. They're all just very pretty actors.
They are. And obviously, some of them became a little more famous than others. The one guy went on to be in like that Supernatural show.
Supernatural. Yeah, that's right.
He became kind of famous. And then, I can't remember the Asian guy's name, but he was in some things too. He was in like that Disturbia movie with Shia LaBeouf, which is like a remake of Rear Window.
Yeah, he got some work. He got some work after that.
He went on to do some other stuff too. So, but that movie to me has so many quotables. Like literally, when he's telling his buddy how to get to the marina to take gas to the boat, and he's like, you know what? Just type boat in the nav and it'll get you there. And the other guy goes, technology, right? Like I quote that 5 times a week probably. And I love too that he gets in the vehicle or in the SUV and he's driving. He's like, "What does it say about me that as soon as he said don't touch my boat, it was guaranteed I was going to touch the fucking boat." Like, I love it.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
Douchey college chat.
Funny douches is funny. Yeah.
From the aughts. Yeah. So '09 is right
and
there.
Jason rips in it, man. His kills are great. He feels formidable. I think in the other movies you could argue like Jason relies on a sneak attack mostly. Here, just on pound for pound, you would not want to go up against him in a physical fight. This is the one where it feels like he's a monster and he'll fucking just destroy you.
And they do a good job of portraying that throughout the movie, not just in his size, which is easy to show, but like when they show him pop up from under the trapdoor and under the floor, or when they show him running towards the guy with the machete right before the credits hit. Like they did a good job harnessing that power and making you in the audience realize, like, if you were in these woods, you'd be fucked.
You'd be fucked.
There's no running or battling back.
100%.
So '09 is a heavy hitter for me. So top three, number 3, yours truly, part 4, final chapter. I honestly could probably change it in as number 2 sometimes, but I got to pay my respects. So it's number 3 for me.
Tommy, I'm going to tell you, I'm shocked so far that you have presumably the original Friday so high.
I do.
Wow.
And you know what? I don't even need to harp on part 4 final chapter because we just kind of talked about that. So we both know why we like it. Number 2 for me is the OG.
Dude, wow. This is the one I'm genuinely shocked by, because I'm going to tell you, for the most part, except for Jason Lives, of course, for the most part, our countdowns are basically the same.
Sure.
But I think you like New Beginning a little more than I do, even though I do love those damn enchiladas. And I would put Jason X a little higher. But dude, I got to tell you, even, it's the one I've rewatched the least.
Sure.
Because to me, and I hate to say this, it feels slow. It's so much time wasted. That's what I was talking about. Like, there's no directorial hand. There's no vision for what it could be. It's just, you get the iconic setting. You get the Kevin Bacon kill. You get the great bit at the end. And I do love Pamela Voorhees' performance. Is fucking great. Once she comes in, the movie wakes up. But to me, up until that point, when you're just kind of following the campers, it's rough. It's a rough watch.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And I do think it's probably the slowest entry in the whole franchise. Part of what I like about that, though, at least for me, that slowness helps me world build a little bit. And it helps me get cozy in that campground setting. And maybe that's why Jason X is so far down the list for me. The campground setting is what does it for me with the Friday the 13th movies. It really is.
It's essential to your enjoyment of the movie.
100%, because, there's been other campground flicks, the Sleepaway Camp, The Burning, there's been a ton of other flicks at campgrounds, but the campground thing is what Friday the 13th made its own, because, if we're being honest, Friday the 13th, was, I'm not going to say a ripoff, but was very much encouraged to do what they did because of the success of Halloween. But you can't just have a guy killing babysitters again, right? Because Halloween already did that. So what are we going to do? Hey, let's just have the guy in the woods killing camp counselors. They're like babysitters of the summer. Same difference, right? And so I appreciate that this first movie sets that tone, and I actually like that you're just following the campers around for a little while because you don't know to be scared yet. Even when the loony guy tells the one girl,
"You're doomed. You're doomed.
I told the others they wouldn't listen. You're all doomed." Like, I love that shit. And what I also think delivers the hardest for me in part 1 is it's got, in my opinion, the best shoe drop of any, slasher horror, we'll say.
Ooh, yeah.
When you find out at the end that the mother, Pamela, you've been hearing all this lore about Jason and how Jason died, and they say he still roams the woods. And no, it wasn't even Jason. It's his fucking mom. And you totally get why it's his mom, right? After hearing all that stuff and what she says about, he wasn't a very good swimmer and they weren't paying attention. Like,
kill her, mommy. That. Kill her. Dude,
like,
she is so fucking good. She's so excellent. Good in that role. I mean it. I genuinely mean it. To me, the movie feels like it's on life support, and then she shows up and it fucking wakes up. like a shot of adrenaline, and you're like,
And
then I can't stop watching it.
And that's Norman Bates' mom, right? If
Yeah,
she
100%.
wasn't crazy, if she didn't go loony, her kid probably wouldn't have become the killer we came to know in 2 through 12. So I really appreciate that shoe drop. And then yeah, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit at heart, I always give bonus points to the OG because I'm like, we owe you for this whole franchise, right? And
It
like,
set the stage. Yeah.
yeah. And it's actually, I was thinking of this the other day. It's kind of rare for me to like the first movie as the best in the franchise. That's not the case with Star Wars. It's not the case with I mean,
Fuck, I would
I
even say
guess
Elm Street for me. I mean, I don't even. I like the first movie, but it's not even my favorite of that
yeah,
series.
I have a hard time with that because 3 and 4 are so good that I
Yeah.
can't say one's better, but I love one because I love fucking Heather Langenkamp.
No,
She's one of my
yeah.
favorite all-time final girls. So, but there's a lot of franchises that my favorite movie, and even moving out of horror, Star Wars, Rocky, like Rocky 2 is my favorite. In the
Yeah.
Alien franchise, Aliens is my
I've come
favorite.
to appreciate First Blood more. I used to be a First Blood Part 2 guy.
Yeah.
And now in my old age, I've been rewatching the First Blood, and I've just grown to love it so much. It's become my favorite.
Well, and it's just a better movie
Yeah.
overall. And
Yeah.
I would agree, First Blood, I think, is the king of that franchise. But First Blood Part 2 is where you got the
It's
Rambo that you
Rambo. Yeah, it's
remember.
fucking Rambo. Yeah.
It's where you got the Rambo you remember. Tying the shit up over his head,
Fuck
shooting
yeah,
fucking
dude.
arrows in the
I'm
jungle.
your worst nightmare.
It's like, Murtaugh, I'm coming for you. Like, it's so good. But, outside of that, like even Godfather, I like Part 2 the best. I like Aliens more than I like Alien.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
A lot of franchises for me, number 2 is the one where I feel like they've set the tone and they can dig their feet in. And because of that, it makes me appreciate number 1 a little more because I'm like, you used 1 to set that tone so that I could be comfortable just jumping in Part 2. And that's what Part 1 of Friday the 13th does for me. I also love the fact that you get that awesome Kevin Bacon kill with the arrow up through his throat.
It's the kill of the movie for sure.
It's excellent.
I would say that and young Jason coming out of the water with Alice on the boat. Those are like the 2 moments. Those are the moments in that movie.
I love the ambiguity of that ending too. Like she's in the hospital and she's like, well, what happened to the little boy? And they're like, there wasn't a little boy. And she's like, well, then he's still out there. Like, I love how ambiguous that is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the end of the first Nightmare on Elm Street, where Nancy's mom gets pulled in through the window of the front door. And
Yes.
you're like, wait, did that just happen or are they still dreaming? So I like that. It got people wanting more without fully selling out, and obviously after that, Jason's mom was dead. So they could move on and have it be Jason. But I mean, it's such a surprising shoe drop that casual horror fans now, it's like in Scream when he's quizzing Drew Barrymore in the beginning of the movie and he's like, who was the killer on Friday the 13th?
Yes.
And she thinks it's Jason. Well, a lot of casual fans would say the same thing, but if you're a nerd like we are, you go, no, it was Pamela Voorhees, the mom. So
Yes.
it'll never get old for me. I still appreciate it. And it was the first movie in the franchise I owned in 4K. So I just like,
Oh,
it looks
interesting.
gorgeous. It looks gorgeous to me.
Do you have that '09 Arrow Video 4K?
I do.
How does
And
that
it's
look?
also-
I so regret not picking that up because I bet it looks amazing.
It does look really good. And it's funny because I actually always thought, so I had the Paramount Steelbook, the Friday the 13th set with like, it's got the tin and it's got like some camp patches and some stickers. And it came out before the Shout Factory one did.
That's the
and
one I
don't-
have. I have the Shout set, the Scream set.
And that's what most people have.
Yeah.
I've got this badass. It's funny. You can actually maybe see it behind me. It's like right there. You can't see it because it's turned sideways, but it's right between Godfather and Deep Blue Sea.
Oh yeah.
Also Arrow. Anyway, that came with all Blu-rays. And I always thought that the '09 Friday, the Blu-ray looked a little kind of like washed out in some scenes.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because it's the newest entry other than, well, no, it is the newest entry. And it didn't look so great, and I think that Arrow addressed that in the 4K restoration. Looks pretty good, and I don't notice those scenes looking so washed out anymore. And I don't know, Arrow just does everything right. I've never seen Arrow, especially with the big fat boxes that they do, the special editions.
I love those chunky box,
Yes.
man.
Like
Shit, it's so nice.
They did it with the mask. They did it with Deep Blue Sea.
I still need to pick up that Spawn. I got to get that Spawn. I want to get that on 4K.
I got that too. I didn't watch it yet, but I picked it up during the last Barnes and Noble half off sale. Arrow.
Damn.
I got that. I got fuck. What's the one with Hugh Jackman and Travolta? Swordfish. And then I got Deep Blue Sea. And I haven't watched Spawn yet, but the others look excellent. So I think that they did a good job with the 09 Friday the 13th. And I was actually glad to see them do that one because, again, I thought, hey, this movie's getting a little extra.
It's like
love.
legitimizes it, right? Yeah.
It does. It does. Because if you go to like Instagram or X and you start.
Oh, people are bitches about it for sure.
They cry about it all the time. And I don't get it.
Bunch of robs, man. Just robbing it up.
These are the people that think that Damien Chazelle is the best filmmaker ever, and David Gordon Green killed it with Halloween, and Terrifier is better than Halloween. Like, so their opinions are like dry farts, man. You just ignore them and move on, you know? But
and
yeah,
that of course brings you to your number one. Yeah.
Number one, my heavy hitter part 2. I love it. It's the scariest entry to me. It's got the best final girl. It's got the best supporting characters. You don't hate everybody. And I just think it's so fun. And the ending is so iconic. Like her putting on, Pamela's sweater and then saying, Jason, mother is talking to you. Like,
mother, listen when mother is talking. Dude, also too.
So good.
You have that iconic, as you were saying, right? You have the iconic location of Crystal Lake, but this introduces another iconic location, Jason's shack, and you get the shrine to Mother. That to me, I just went through the Jason universe haunted house at HHN. And let me tell you, the thing I was most excited to do was walk into Jason's shack and see Mother, and it did not disappoint. And nice. It just made me realize, I was like, that's so cool that became such an iconic landmark for this series. And it's so cool that I can't agree with you more, dude. I think, look, I put Jason Lives at my top because this is my personal favorite, but if I'm being realistic, 2 is the best Friday the 13th period.
Yeah, I mean, I literally think 2 can still be scary. You can lose yourself in it, and it's still like, holy fuck. Wow, yeah, that's legit scary.
And it's got a visual style. All the cuts, the punches land, like it just feels like a complete movie. The experience of it is really nice. The watch is really good.
Well, you mentioned window shots and how iconic they are to the franchise.
And that one's got a big best. Mother, yeah.
Yeah, him flying in, and he's got his mask off, and his face is all contorted and all as he's pulling the guy back out through the window. Yes. Like that shit, it doesn't get any better than that. Nobody saw that coming. So 2 is creme de la creme, as far as I'm concerned.
And we want to say too, part 2 directed by the great Steve Miner. He's also the man behind Halloween H2O 20 years later. And one of my favorite movies that nobody talks about, Lake Placid. I fucking love Lake Placid.
Lake Placid's awesome. I am,
dude, anytime, you know me, when animals attack movies, gators, crocs, I'm in. Lake Placid, one of the best. Nobody talks about it.
It's fun, and I like it's got a hell of a cast that you don't hear enough about. Obviously, Bill Pullman and Bridget Fonda, but dude, Brendan Gleeson is a hick cop in that movie.
He's fucking great in it.
He's awesome, and of course, Oliver Pratt, I think is his name.
Yes,
he's also excellent. So yeah, Lake Placid's super underrated. Betty White,
dude,
fucking husband.
She's the Mrs. So she's the Pamela Voorhees of Lake Placid. Spoiler.
Yeah, if Pamela Voorhees lived, that's Betty.
She'd
White.
Be Betty White. Fuck yeah, dude.
Feeding the little gators. That's awesome.
Tommy, I gotta tell you, this has been such a joy, dude, because I really mean it. This feels like the culmination of something since we became buddies a couple years ago. That I've wanted to do, and I wanted to tell everybody at home, usually we do Rex, but we're not doing Rex. It's just a Friday special. You should take the Rex from from the countdown. Take the Rex from the Friday movies. You could do well to listen to any of Tommy's picks and make your rec choice from there, dude. So there is no get wrecked. This whole episode to me is one giant get wrecked. That's what I'm saying.
Get wrecked with Friday. It's funny you say that, bro, because you know how seriously I take the rec segment.
I know. I almost told you. I was like, oh no, don't waste time doing that. And I was like, did you though?
I didn't. I thought of a few, but I didn't do like anything crazy. But what I thought of too was saying, you know what, folks, you should actually go watch a Friday the 13th.
I think that's the Rex, dude. That's the Rex. You know what? We'll have Tommy back on again soon, and we could do a normal show with normal Rex, because I do know you rock that segment. You do like that segment. But yeah, that's what I want people to take away from this episode. There is no other shit outside of Friday. It's Friday the 13th. Go watch a Friday the 13th movie. That's what you should be doing.
Please. It's a mini holiday. It's something we don't always get. And, it's always had a special place in my heart. I think it's why I like the franchise. I was born on the 13th of June. And so as a kid, I remember everybody being like, ooh, 13's unlucky. That's a bad number. And I was always like, well, I like 13. It's pretty dope. So I remember we'd have Friday the 13th, and all the little kids at school would be like, oh, you got to be careful tonight. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. It's a bad luck day. And I was always like, today's the best day. It's my birthday's in 3 months from today. I can't wait.
Fuck you, bitch. This is a great day.
Yeah. So now I treat Friday the 13th better than I treat, I don't know, Columbus Day or Easter or any of that shit. So it hits for me. This is the day.
Typically people go to Olive Garden on big days. This would be your Olive Garden day.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be the 13th, dude.
If they had an Olive Garden with, slashers serving you your shit on a machete, I'd be there every Friday.
Dude, just machete those breadsticks. Fucking just more breadsticks.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Do you watch Fridays outside of, obviously you watch them outside of Friday the 13th, but do you watch them on days that aren't Fridays?
Yeah, I do. Actually, the last time I did this, it was because I was covering Friday the 13th Part 3 on another podcast, so I had to watch it outside of a Friday. But funny enough, I don't know if you know this about me, Tommy, but in my old life, I was a TV producer, and I worked for a lot of networks. One of them was for AMC. My whole AMC thing that I said earlier was not a shout out to AMC. I wasn't trying to keep it in the family or anything.
You're not a paid shill.
I'm not a paid shill. It was not a commercial. I used to be a writer-producer of promos for AMC, BBC America, and IFC. Cool. They ran a bunch of Friday the 13th marathons. And I was lucky enough to be the horror guy there. And I got to make what to me is one of my favorite things I've ever made, is a Friday the 13th stunt called TGIF. Thank God it's Friday the 13th. And actually, if you want, wait, I think I actually have it on my site. I could show you.
Please
I had to marathon the movies several times. Wait, let me find it here, and I'll share my screen.
So for that, you were doing it for work.
I was doing it for work
purposes. That totally makes sense.
I've done Michael Myers. I've done Halloween. Okay, here we go. Wait, I'll show you. So, here, wait. And these are on my site. If you guys want to go check these out, you can check it out at vimeo.com/Matt Gilbert. These are actual spots that I wrote and produced for IFC. And this is the Friday the 13th marathon spot that I did. Here we go. Wait, and go.
Relax. Enjoy the weekend. Nothing's going to happen. We're all here together. What are you trying to do? Kill me?
I also cut together, there you go. I also cut together some bumpers and continuities. These are called continuities. So when you're watching the event on air, it's like, hey, you're watching. And I was quite proud of this because final chapter, I actually got this bumper from that I was like, oh, I really want to use this as a bumper.
Yeah. There's that TV.
Stay tuned. Fuck yeah.
Dude, those are amazing, bro.
Thank you, man. Those. Thank you. And I have one more. Cool. I was quite proud of this one. You'll appreciate this as a man who has rekindled his love for Part 3. Boom.
Dude, those are so legit. I like those a lot. That's
Thank you.
And you know, I was actually going to harp on this earlier, but I didn't because we moved on. But I love AMC for doing how they do those marathons. And I have not watched, I haven't had cable in years. And as a physical media collector, I watch what I watch when I want to watch it. I'm never up to the mercy of anybody's, TV lineup. But I remember I worked at Best Buy for many years. And so you'd walk into the break room on a Thursday afternoon in October. It'd be 3:30 in the afternoon. And I'd be like, what the fuck are you guys watching? I'd turn it to AMC, like to catch whatever horror franchise they were marathoning. And I always very much appreciated, I remember in the wee morning hours on Halloween night when everybody else would be sleeping, and I'm kind of a night owl and I'd be up late, and I always knew I could turn to AMC or at least see them on the channel guide as the only ones still playing Halloween shit until like 6 in the morning.
Fuck yeah.
So
yeah.
I love AMC. If I still had cable, that'd be my fucking channel right there. But I don't need them because I pretty much own.
Yeah, you got everything. Trust me, you don't need the sanitized versions. You got the real versions.
Yeah. But if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna watch a TV version,
go to AMC, dude. Fear Fest. Let me tell you, this last year they nailed it with Fear Fest. They did a great job. Got nothing but love and respect for the people over at AMC Networks.
Nice. That's killer.
So yeah, there you go. And if you want to check out my Friday the 13th spots, you can just go to my site, vimeo.com/Matt Gilbert. And they're all up there. I have a bunch of Halloween spots too. I did a bunch of Michael Myers stuff. I did a bunch of fun stuff over there. It was kind of like, if you were a horror guy, it was a good place to work. Dude, I am gonna check that stuff out. And obviously I know you're a talented guy and you work in the biz, but I did not know you did those. So that's pretty legit, man. So I will check that out because I got to see these Halloween ones now. That's my the Halloween ones are good. We had a little more fun with those because they were like, well, you'll see. They were like, we want this shit to be silly, and I was like, no problem. I got a good idea for you.
Yeah, I got this. But you can tell it also comes from a place of love,
of reverence and love. Yeah.
Like
you entwine yourself with a franchise so much, it so much that you're able to make jokes about it. You're able because you respect it,
Totally. You didn't have to learn about Friday the 13th. You were already there.
I was there. Yeah. That was actually one of the first things I remember I came up with at that job, was to be like, hey man, thank God it's Friday. Like, we should do something with that. It was just very cool of them to go for it. So
good on them. That's so legit. It's way better than the TGIF of Step by Step and Family Matters. And that stuff was cool too, but I'd rather, thank God,
it had its day. It's had a day.
TGIF.
You know what Friday I like? Asbot, you got a Friday clip. What do you got?
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got shit to do.
Thank you, Asbot. You heard it from Asbot, folks. It's Friday. You ain't got shit to do. Watch a Friday the 13th movie.
You might as well.
Tommy, dude, thank you so much for making this podcasting dream come true for me. Did you have anything you want to hype? We're gonna have you. I know it's been a while since we've had you on the show because it's just been so crazy with scheduling. But I know we'll see you again soon. But did you have anything you wanted to hype in the meantime? Anything you want to leave the people with?
Not anything specific right now. I've fallen a little bit off of the face of the earth as far as socials and podcasting. I kind of I know you've had some issues with Instagram, and I wrestle with my own demons with that too. I think it's all a little silly, and I'm just really happy for like the indie people like you and Mark that are out here still putting it in, because I got a little jaded about podcasts once you started seeing every fucking celebrity and their sibling doing a podcast. I was this is ridiculous. And I really love that you guys are still like towing the line, and you're coming from this place of like love and basically being nerds. And I love that you guys still have me back. So the only thing I have to promote is listen to indie podcasts that come from a place of reverence and not a place of greed, like Matt and Mark Movie Show. Because that's going to tell you what you need to be watching, honestly. And these guys have great movie taste. Very similar to my own, and I will add on to what Matt said. You should watch Friday the 13th this Valentine's Friday. And if you got to watch a chick flick Saturday, you might as well get that Friday.
Just cash in, cash those chips in on Friday.
That's right,
dude. Thank you again, Tommy. This has been great. All right, everybody, that's it for us. Thanks for joining us for this Friday the 13th. We're out of here. Peace.